Okay, are we ready? We're going? Okay, all right. Hey there, FlossTube. This is Cathy, the hands-on designer. I am here with a very special guest.
Mr. HOD.
Mr. Hands-on Design. Woohoo! We thought we would, this is a Friday evening. We're having a little happy hour. I kind of feel like we're both sitting here at the desk, like, you know, we're doing our best, Cathy Lee and Regis. Ooh, I just really dated myself.
Regis. Gotta do better than Regis. Come on.
But we're having a little happy hour moment here. So clink. Little, what do you have?
Nice hazy IPA.
Okay, and I have a blueberry Moscato in my, there you go, Lois, in my flamingo wine glass. It's a little blueberry, but it'll work. So this is going to be a little different video because usually I do videos when I've got new releases, that kind of thing. We just thought it would be kind of fun to come and just talk about lots of different things that are going on. We know a lot of you are home right now stitching and catching up on all your FlossTube. So maybe this will give you just something a little new in the hands-on design FlossTube catalog to watch. The other thing why we're celebrating, clink, is that tomorrow is a pretty special day. Well, for a couple of reasons. Number one,
It's Christopher's birthday.
it's our youngest son's birthday. He is going to be 25 tomorrow. Don't we look just so young to have a 25-year-old baby? So happy birthday, bud. We'll be talking to you at some point during the day, I know. But also tomorrow marks 22 years. It's written right in front of me.
What are we calculating? That's a 2 and a 2.
It's going to be 22 years that I have actually been active and involved and had a business in the needlework industry. Starting off with hands-on needle shop. We had the shop for 9 years. And then of course there were the years where I just did finishing full-time and then of course morphing into just designing full-time. So even though I've worn a lot of hats, I feel like, I don't know, I've been around a while.
I'm not saying anything.
Probably a good idea. And people, every once in a while, they say, well, why did you open a shop on your son's 3rd birthday? I don't know why it happened that way. It just did. He didn't mind. He got a great birthday party out of it, I'm sure. A guilt party. But anyway. So happy birthday, Christopher. Woohoo. We hope you're celebrating and staying well. So we have a bunch of stuff to talk about, just some different projects that I've been working on here in the studio. And then we're going to end with a little Q&A. I kind of put it out there on Facebook earlier. I had been compiling some questions that people ask in emails or whether it's on a FlossTube or something like that. So we'll definitely be showing some stitching, but we'll try and answer some questions too. So the first thing I want to do is talk about, okay, I quilt. But I don't get to do it as much as possible. So I had this great idea during this time of quarantine. I'm going to make a quarantine quilt. So this is my quarantine quilt.
It's a little skinny.
Yeah, it's not, ooh, it's so warm. Never mind. So my whole idea, if you're familiar with quilting, like, oh, now I'm wearing most of it. And so are you. But I had some jelly rolls and I sewed them together in long strips like this, and I'm ironing some. Some, obviously, I have not. And my grand plan is I'm going to iron them open, square them up. I don't follow patterns. I kind of like to, don't laugh. I kind of like to sort of make things up as I go along, and sometimes it's a good thing, and sometimes
it's usually a good thing.
Yeah, well, we'll hope. But anyway, so there's my progress. I'll keep posting maybe on my social pages as I get time. I think I'll probably actually have a little time this weekend to work on that too. But yep, there's mine. I can't even grab it all. There's my quarantine quilt. Like it? Would you like the pattern? I mean, I can probably write it down for you. So anyway, here, have a quilt.
Promise, I didn't do this. That's still above my capability.
Oh my gosh. And now I am covered in little white friv. But anyway, so that was a check, the quarantine quilt. And then I also did bring a vintage stitch to show. You guys, I literally had to dig this out of a box. This frame, do you even remember this?
I remember it, yeah.
But I don't think it's hung in our house.
It's been a while.
It's been a long time. So apparently I was feeling a little blue when I stitched this. Okay, I'll put it in front of me. There you go. There you go. Oh, thank you. It's from a magazine. I don't know what magazine, and I don't know what. I think it's on 22 count. 2 shades of DMC. Not necessarily what the pattern called for. I also I framed this one myself, and when, let's see, not my first job, but my second job out of college, I did custom framing, and I custom framed this. And like I said, I had either I was in a blue period, or I definitely was into kind of the monochromatic, and I made it like a little kind of a spacer between the 2 mats kind of thing. But here, I'll hold it.
We had a lot of blue in our house at that time.
We did. Well, our first, don't you remember our first the townhouse? It had that blue and brown bathroom. Like the toilet was blue, the tub was blue, and the sink was blue. And yeah, we got married in the decade of a colonial blue and rose.
A lot of rose,
with
a lot of blue,
a lot of ducks.
a lot of ducks, a lot of geese.
We don't own any of those anymore. But
They disappeared.
A couple garage sales ago. But I have an idea with this because, okay, I don't think I've even told you I'm going to do this yet. I'm probably going to really upset a few people. I'm not ever going to hang it like this again. It's just, I don't know. I'm not going to. I had to dig it out of a box. We've moved it to how many homes now? It's been moved 6 times, 7 times. It's not something I'll ever hang, but I'm going to do something with it to display it. It involves taking it out of the frame and doing something with it. I have an idea.
I have no idea.
And it might involve cutting it up.
I figured that's where you were going.
But I figure it this way. It's not an heirloom, although, okay, I did sign it. It says Catherine W.H. I was like, yeah, right there. Can you see that? Catherine. I went through a real phase where, I used my first name and then W.H., W being my maiden name, and then H, obviously. And this was stitched in October of '88. So that does kind of make it vintage.
Yeah. It was 8 months after we were married.
Yes.
What does that make us?
Vintage.
We're vintage too.
Okay, I think we need another little sip.
Careful.
Anyway, all right. So there's even like I had to really dust this off when it came out of the box. There's even kind of, I don't know, some spots on there. I'm hoping that's not mold. But I think I'm gonna take it out of the frame and I am gonna do something with it. I do remember stitching it. I do remember enjoying it. It's kind of warping in the frame a little bit, so I don't know. I think I've gotten better at framing, hopefully. So that's my vintage stitch. I can't tell you anything about it other than it looks like I think it's 22 count and just the 2 shades of blue. It's a Delft sampler. It was in a magazine. I'm sure that magazine does not exist anymore. So anyway, there you go, my vintage stitch. So we all have those probably. What else do we have? Oh, okay. Secret Santa. This week I've been getting some charts ready. They're at the printer now. So we'll be doing a new release here in a little bit. We're kind of playing with dates to kind of see what works for everybody for a lot of the shops and who may be working out of their home, that kind of thing. But I do want to share a couple things about Secret Santa because it was brought to my attention on the Santa key. No chimney, no problem. At the very bottom on the chart, one of the sets of holly leaves is like over 1 stitch too far. So if you want them to be symmetrical, scooch them over. So in the next, when I get the second print run, I've already corrected it on the master, but when the next print run is done, it will be fixed. So, but if you're not exactly sure, email me, I can kind of talk you through it. But it'll be pretty obvious when you look at the picture on the front and then the chart. I think I don't know. I don't know how that happens. It just does. But couple things though, as I've been charting the next charts, like these were the first two, Holly St. Nick and the Santa Key. You know, the whole thing with that is that, I'm gonna kind of cover up most of this, is you get a portion of the 9th and Secret Santa. And I told everybody I would do my best to make sure like this section was the same on every chart. Here's the other one below it. And we're starting from the bottom of the Santa and stitching our way up. You're gonna get about 8 rows each time. There'll be a row of overlap. Well, okay, unfortunately, when I import or export the files with the patterns, it doesn't always tell me, or won't always let me import with the darker grid. You know, every 10 blocks there's a dark line. It kind of randomly selects, and I've tried to force it, I've tried everything. Well, it didn't really dawn on me that, I mean, you can line these up, but unfortunately that darker line does not match up. So what I've done on the 2 charts and all the remaining charts for the series, I took the dark lines out. I know that kind of, some people really like those because you use it in counting. I think that would be more important in a bigger piece.
These are small enough.
Yeah, and so I felt like the first 2 are gonna be a little jarring to the eye because the dark line won't match up. So you go by the pattern pieces themselves. And again, if you have any questions or issues with that and you're not sure what I'm talking about, email me. I'm holding up the chart long enough for here. So anyway, as your reward for listening to all that and to dealing with this, should we do a little sneak peek?
Sure.
So far we've had the Holly St. Nick and the Santa Key. The next one is going to be, hold it up.
Sure thing.
Silent Night. There is a question there. Is that night so silent? Because Santa is playing a big horn and he's not being very silent. Anyway, so same colorway. It's got a lot of little sparkle to it. I just love this Santa. I just kind of like, I don't know. He's kind of flying in off the edge there. The cool basic gray fabric for the backing. Of course, you know, the Just Another Button Company bead, holly bead at the bottom. And you know, the template is on my website under the tutorial section. And I've had a few people ask again how to fit them all onto a fat quarter. Refer back to one of the tutorial or one of the floss tubes that I did just before market, where I kind of did a mini tutorial and I showed you how to do that. And again, just email me, I'll get you to the right spot to see it. So there's your sneak peek. Of the Secret Santa. I've seen a few of you out there stitching them already, and they're looking really cool. And yay! So, and thank you to the lady that brought the I can't remember her name, but brought the charting error to my attention. You know, you try and you try. So, well, I guess another thing I wanted to talk about was the Stitch and Be Well movement, the hashtag Stitch and Be Well. A couple of designers started, I guess they talked with the shop owner and they were putting out this call for designers to do a small complimentary design, since we're all sort of stuck inside our home, and send along messages of well wishes and whatnot. And so I did mine, and I chose mine to say choose happy. You can get mine on the website. You can find it on my website. Actually, right now there's several complimentary designs on my website, so you should be able to stitch for a while. But I chose the saying choose happy. I did incorporate the be well. into my complementary design, just because I feel very strongly that, especially now and other times, that saying I'm going to be happy really is a choice.
Mm-hmm.
It's sometimes you have to get out of bed in the morning and say, I'm going to choose to be happy today. So a lot of you have already stitched mine, and this is how I finished mine. I actually just finished it today. I made a little pocket out of mine. You want to kind of show it around and turn it around. You can see all the different fabrics. I just used a collection of fabrics. I didn't follow a pattern, and I didn't write anything down. So please don't ask me for a tutorial, because I'm gonna go, I don't know, just choose happy. And you can open it up. I did a little button up there, and there's some pretty fabric on the inside. I made mine this size because I wanted to put these, you know, just some little tools and accessories in there. Actually, you want to show one of those? These were some fun little some fun little hexy boxes. I posted about these. Another Iowa gal from, her company is Me and My Stitches, and you can order these from her website. They're really well made. And I use mine as, I put my scissors in them and orts, so the dogs and the cats don't get them. They're sitting all over the couch. And then, so when I go places, stitch-ins, when I can go places again, you can just put them in my little bag and then wrap the, kind of had to jerry rig the little tie there. Again, I wasn't following a pattern. Can you get
You're gonna need a more skilled helper than this. I'm not trying to get fired.
No, you can't get fired, babe.
That's
Sorry.
kind of what I figured.
Anyway, so there you go. I did, it's quilted a little bit. I used a variety of fabrics. Okay, I just have to point out this fabric. I love this fabric. It's got, and I'll post about it tomorrow on my social pages. It has fun, kind words on it. So I thought it was a really cool fabric to use. Things like gather happy, love, cultivate kindness, find joy in the ordinary. I just thought that was really cool. So it really fit with the whole choose happy, you know, making a choice to choose happy and putting the little be well in there. So keep sharing your finishes. If you follow the hashtag #bewellandstitch, you will find, I think it's really cool, and I want to thank my fellow designers that have just gone over and above their efforts to put these designs out there. They're still coming. Karen Kluba, I think, just posted hers today.
Rosewood Banner.
Thank you, Rosewood Banner. and it's gorgeous. I printed that one off, and they're just, you know, just beautiful.
It's very positive.
It is. It's a very positive message. So, but we kind of put out there, I put out there on Facebook a little bit ago, like if you had any questions you wanted to ask us. So we come to that Q&A spot of the...
This is the Inquisition portion.
Okay.
We get the light.
Oh, wait.
Get the light. Get the light. No.
Hey, some of those questions are for you. So, okay, we'll try and keep it going.
We're out of time.
Okay, so we need a little, okay. And I really haven't, some of these I've kind of thought about answers, and some I'm like, I don't know, we'll have to think of something. Okay.
First one, these are just kind of some random ones.
Okay.
Finishing kits. What can you tell us about the mat board?
Oh, okay. I came prepared. Finishing kit, not to be confused as a commercial, but I did have some questions about the finishing kit for the Well-Rounded series. They come with laser cut circles, and somebody was looking, she was going to buy one and use this as a template, and she wanted to know the thickness. This is 4-ply or 4-layer. 4-ply, it sounds like toilet paper, but everybody's thinking about toilet paper right now.
We'll go with 4-layer.
4-layer. It's about 1/16 of an inch thick, and what you get in the kit is actually acid-free, if that matters. So there you go. All right. Next. That was easy.
How do you tie your scarf?
Oh, Okay. Again, I get this question a lot because normally I'm wearing a scarf, but since I'm drinking wine, I tend to get the little whoo, so I'm not wearing a scarf. All right, so I brought a scarf just to demonstrate. Okay, long, skinny scarf. Woo. Okay.
I'm gonna look for hard questions now.
Okay, so I put it like in half. I find the middle, and then I go around my neck. I have a fat neck. There, I said it. A lot of people would say, my family would probably, don't hold up your fat head, but no. Anyway, so here's the loop, and here are my two ends. So you take one end, go through the loop, then you twist it, and then put the other end through that. And then you can kind of play with it from there, and it makes it lie flat. So you're not, and plus then I can kind of pull it down and keep it away from my neck. And, because that happens too. So I'm going to take it off because anyway, so there you go. All right. In half, put it around your probably skinny neck, one through the loop, turn the loop, put this through. I did this one time at the quilt shop. I was checking people out, and a bus tour was, I used to work at a quilt shop, a friend's quilt shop, and there's a bus tour that came through, and they were like, how do you tie your scarf? And so I did it really quick, and they're like, could you do that again? And I went, and I looked up, and there's like all these phones looking at me. So my tutorial's probably already out there on YouTube. So anyway, all right, I'm getting goofy. Yes, next.
This is a plant. How does Mr. HOD like being Mr. HOD? I didn't see that on the page anywhere. Online, nobody.
How do you like being Mr. HOD?
I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Meet a lot of really great folks, a lot of great people. Between other designers, stitchers, shop owners. That's a lot of fun. And I know all the hard work that's gone into it in the last 22 years. 22 years ago, it wasn't a start in a retail storefront place. It was a start in a small room in our basement of the house. And
we're back in the basement of the house.
It's been quite the journey, and I tell Cathy I'm always very impressed with what she's done. So it makes me proud, and I do enjoy it. So there you have that.
How did Mr. HOD, I remember we were at Galleria last year, and our room was really crowded. It was the first time you came to Galleria with me. Yeah. And we were in the room, and some people were walking by, some stitchers were walking by, and I very clearly remember hearing somebody say out in the hallway, there's Mr. Hands-On Design. And
there you go.
The rest is history. So thank you for being so supportive. I appreciate it.
No problem. Do you sell class kits?
Okay. Okay, this one I planted. I used to, but I kind of stopped that policy a couple years ago because shops invite me to retreats and to events, and many times I am making it especially for them, and I like to teach it a couple times. A lot of work goes into class kits, and I just decided that, oh, hey, we have a guest coming to join us, so you might hear her meowing, but
this is Ziza. Hi Ziza, how are you? I think you should.
Yeah, I think she should too. Anyway, so the short answer is, I should say, is that I typically don't. I like to, when I've developed a class, I will teach it several times at least, and then I will release it. So I encourage you to get to a retreat when we have them again, and take a class. I like my classes to be lots of fun. We laugh. You get something finished, and then eventually, yes, you can you can count on that. I will most always release it as a chart
sometime in the future.
Yep.
Sure. Do you give DMC substitutes?
Yes. I get this all the time. So I typically design in a lot of, I do some DMC, like Well Rounded is DMC. Okay, yeah, like the Secret Santa, that's mostly Weeks Dye Works. What I do is you'll see the name, like the symbol, and then the name of the specialty thread, and then in the end, in parentheses, there's a number. That is your DMC number, okay? And I've done DMC numbers on everything with the sole exception of the original Year in Chalk series. I did not. That was a choice I made early on, and we did discuss it, and we said, well, because it's all General Art sampler threads, and of course the one color is white. And I said, well, there's only 2 colors per design. One is white. So really you're only having to figure out the other color. And there's a lot, if you Google, there's a lot of conversion charts online. So if you're not exactly sure, or just pick your favorite pink or your favorite blue, or so many people switch those charts up. So, you know, I think that's fun. So yes, that's the answer. I said we'd move quickly, didn't I? How much time are we
It's
at?
midnight.
Oh, 20.
Dear, it's midnight. It's time for bed. Why do you like the sulky threads?
Okay. I love all my hand dyed. I love I like it all, quite frankly. Oh, the cats are fighting over there. So you're going to hear a cat fight here in a second. But I like the sulky because there's a very large part of me that's a lazy stitcher. You know, and I always railroad everything, but I really like to stitch with the sewing method. And when it's one strand, it's just so easy. So sometimes I say, yep, I'm just kind of a lazy stitcher, and that's why I like the sulky. Plus, I really like their colors. I love the fact that they're not that expensive, and you get so much yardage in a spool. So there we go. Okay. Are we moving to some internet questions?
We have some internet questions.
The intranets.
From Gretchen. I remember a while ago your sister was visiting from Pennsylvania, I believe Pittsburgh. Did you grow up there? Any favorite memories if you did? I'm from Western PA. Pittsburgh is my closest big city.
Okay, yes, I grew up there. I was actually born in a suburb of Minneapolis, but my family moved to Pittsburgh when I was very young. I was about 2 when we moved. And so I went all through grade school, kindergarten, grade school, all graduated high school. We lived in a suburb called Penn Hills. And I kind of grew up in it was weird because it was a very new development, that part of Penn Hills we were in. So we were definitely big city, suburbs, but our housing development was across the street from a dairy farm. So it was this weird juxtaposition of like farm, but you know, the kind of boom, boom, boom houses, and then big city. So it was kind of an odd, you know, and like what did they say? What were the questions?
Any favorite memories?
Favorite memories. I loved going downtown Pittsburgh in the holidays. I sang in choir in the high school, and so a lot of times we would go, like when the big department stores were downtown, Kaufman's, Gimbel's, what else was there? And they had the big stores, and of course the pretty windows. And then KDKA would always be in one of the windows, the radio station, and they would be broadcasting, and our choir would always go at night, and we would sing on the radio. So I loved the downtown area. It's a beautiful downtown. So
Caroline asks, any chance you could host a virtual retreat? I saw a comment about it in one of your earlier posts.
Yeah, there were a couple questions about retreats. And honestly, this was a big year for us to travel and do some retreats. They have not all been canceled yet. I think we're definitely going to get some in, or some could potentially be rescheduled. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely something, you know, we kind of have talked about, like it could work, I think, in this day and age. Plus, if you're not able to travel to a shop, or if it, you know, fills up quickly or something like that, it would definitely be a way to reach a broader audience. So, so yeah, I don't know when, but it's definitely on the table for discussion.
Martha asks, of all your designs, which is your favorite?
Ooh. Do you have a favorite? Okay.
I kind of like the good ship sampler.
Yes, the good ship sampler. That is a good one. Okay, I'm going to give the answer that probably she doesn't want to hear. My favorite design is probably the whichever one I'm working on at the present moment. Sorry. I like them all. I don't know. That's the cop-out answer. Sorry.
We have a hello from Marion in Nova Scotia, Canada.
Nova Scotia.
Probably the one place on the planet that's colder than it is here now.
Yeah, probably.
We had a nice storm last night.
Yeah. Are the dining room windows still covered?
They've melted.
Okay, good.
Polly K asks.
Polly!
Hi, Polly. Have you ever thought of doing your own retreats? You hosting and a couple other designers joining you.
That would be a lot of fun, and I would love to organize it. And as I say this, I'm sure Mr. HOD's head's going to go.
Sure. In the year 2028.
Yeah, there you go. I think that would be a blast because back when I had my shop, I used to organize the classes, and a couple times, don't you remember when we used to rent that little building? And I kind of had like a primitive gathering, and we made baskets, and we did wire, I don't know, we did all kinds of cool crafts, not necessarily cross stitch, but I brought in a lot of teachers, and I loved organizing things like that. So
it was fun. It was always a good time.
yeah, you just never know.
Rhonda asks, is there a trick to keeping thread from twisting while stitching? Does the right size of needle help?
That's a good question. I don't know that the right size of needle helps. Okay, here's my theory. Okay, couple part answer. Here's my theory on needles, because people always sit like they look at a little chart and, oh, if I'm stitching on this count, I have to stitch with a 26 or a 28 or a 24 or whatever. My thought about needles is I probably mostly stitch with a 26. It's what I'm comfortable with. Even on 32 count, sometimes I do a 26. If you can thread the needle and the needle doesn't enlarge the holes of what it is you're stitching on, then you're okay. So that's kind of my theory on what's the right size of needle. If you railroad your stitches, that might help from the twisting. If I'm say using something like pearl cotton or the sulky, just do a couple stitches, and then every once in a while just kind of hold the piece up, and you're gonna have to just sort of let the needle and the thread dangle and let it untwist a little bit. I don't know if that helps.
Okay. Stacy asks, do you ever feel overwhelmed with all the irons you have in the fire? Between designs, charts, finishing, teaching, family.
Cats.
That's hard to get good help.
We are not editing any of this.
Oh my goodness.
But the wine and the beer are okay.
Everything's good.
It's all good. Okay, overwhelmed. Did you ask her to ask that question?
It's kind of funny that the camera fell over at that point. It wasn't her falling over, it was the camera. So
did you ask her to ask that question?
I did not.
Yeah, sure, at times. Probably the biggest time to get overwhelmed is right before market, because it's such a busy time. I enjoy being busy. I enjoy being project driven. I'm very like a project based type person. So overwhelming, yes, but I am also, it doesn't always appear to be that way, but I am very organized. And I'm also, okay, I can do this because our children are grown. I have a number of designing friends who have young children at home yet, and they're like, how do you get it all done? I'm like, well, I don't have toddlers running around, or even teenagers. So I'm definitely, and I have a very supportive spouse, so that helps.
And Deb.
And Deb. We do have, Deb comes to work, not right now, because she, well, you know.
All the
with all
Social
the
distancing.
social distancing, she's at home right now. She has two individuals, her husband and a daughter in the medical field, and so she's kind of home, basically, kind of taking care of them and making sure that they're well and healthy and looked after. So, so yeah. I mean, I definitely have help, and I have a lot of great friends who come over and help pack charts and do that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just all, folding charts and putting them in a plastic bag. So,
you're not on an island by yourself.
No. I have a lot of support. So, yeah. I can't read that part.
This one I'm not sure about.
Okay.
It's from Shelley. Thoughts on stitch while white on a light background? Maybe it's while on a light background. Should you always take the white into consideration when choosing the fabric?
Okay, maybe she means like if you wouldn't see the white.
Right, I think that's what.
Okay, well, yeah, I would definitely make the white. I would actually probably, if the white is an essential part of the design, I would actually pay more attention to your fabric. I know maybe if you're referring to like some of my chalk designs, maybe you don't like to stitch on the dark, but there are other colors out there that white would pop off of, mm-hmm. but that aren't dark gray or black. So I don't know, hopefully message me if that's not what you meant.
Gail asks, have you ever designed a piece early on in your designing career that you would go back and change or tweak now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Which one?
Oh, quite a few, actually. Well, okay. I've designed a lot of things over the years. Because even though, like, I wasn't necessarily officially a designer when I had the shop, there were things that I designed as classes for the shop. I mean, I've been designing things like that for a while now. Honestly, I look at things all the time, even after things are published. I mean, at some point you have to just tell yourself, walk away from the design. He's even said, walk away from the design. I'm constantly critical, and I'm constantly trying to, what?
You would be amazed. I come home from work, down in the studio, come take a look at this, tell me what you think. So we take a look and we're working, and one block of color gets moved to 4 different places. I don't have a very large artistic brain, so I'm like looking at it going, it was fine where it was in the beginning. So, but you constantly go through processes.
I
like
do.
that.
I do. So,
and
yeah.
It turns out well. So,
okay.
The next question from Mary. Will you release pineapples and flamingos this summer? Please.
I can definitely say yes. That's actually, I'm working on that, getting that together now. So look for it. My plan at this point, if my printers all stay open, is probably like late May, early June. Mm-hmm. So yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's going to depend on printing and shipping.
Yeah.
And all that good stuff. Jill asks, did you already talk about the new Secret Santa in a FlossTube?
We talked about the series. I talked about the 2, like how you fit it on the fat quarter of linen. That's in a previous.
And the first 2 were in the pre-market.
Right. Yes, because the first 2 released at market, and then I kind of gave you a sneak peek of one of the ones coming up. So again, the plan is that here in a couple weeks, the next 2 are coming out. So.
Okay. This one's gonna put you on the spot. It's from Lisa. It says, have you ever designed something that Mr. HOD didn't like, or is he the kind to give an honest opinion?
Okay. This is hard because I think you a lot of times say, you like everything I do. Mm-hmm. But yet you give an honest opinion. Mm-hmm. I do remember one piece, and maybe you remember it. It's HD1.
The Owl Love?
It was, was kind of, you know, getting back into designing, and because I had taken a little break when my previous design company closed, and I was doing some stitching, some other designers, and then it's like, okay, time to start designing again. And I designed Owl Love, and I remember you looked at it and you went, owls, really? I was so bummed. I thought it was really cute, but
and
you know,
I lived to tell about it.
yeah. Actually, you know, we sell some of that design every
We
month.
still do to this day. So, yeah. Always remember that one.
Yeah.
Carmen asks, do you miss having a shop?
No. Let me tell you, man, if you are lucky enough to have a local needlework shop, or you know somebody that owns a local needlework shop, or you, I don't know, the next time you're able to get into that shop and we can hug people again, you go give them a hug, because that is a hard job, let me tell you.
Yes, it is.
And I'm not saying that having an online shop is not hard. That's not what I mean at all. But I loved my shop.
The customers were great.
I have so many great friends, great memories because of it. And I've met some amazing people. And it was the start of my career, my 22 years in the industry. But I closed because my kids hit middle school, and I wanted to be around more for them, because I've said it before and said it many times. Having a shop was like having a third, fourth, and fifth child.
Well, the stitching group you have now originated in that shop.
Yep, we had stitch-ins every Thursday night.
And that's still the stitching group that meets regularly.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's kind of a neat thing.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Denise asks, how's the season's set that'll go with the winter SAL coming along? What we were talking about earlier, the Chalk Talk.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. Chalk Talk. Sorry. It's coming. Okay. Couple things that I think I sort of explained in the one video about that is it was not on the calendar for this year. You know, it wasn't on any calendar because of the way the first one was, because the magazine or the calendar company or Hirschner's owns it. And it was just because, you know, I got talking to Felicia and she's like, would you do this? And one thing led to the other. And I said, yes. However, I'm kind of fitting it into, and we've shifted some things around. So yes. And should I say what season's going to be next?
As long as you're willing to commit to it. That's above my pay grade.
Okay, the plan is
Very well
the
put.
next, the one coming up will be, I'm going to do fall next. Okay, there will be a piece that is the same size as the winter chalkboard, but I'm going to have a couple other. It's going to be a very full chart with lots of extras. So yes, so it is in the works. Probably won't get out as quickly as some of you want, but it will happen. So I am working on it. Can you read?
I need new glasses and it's getting a little darker. Lily asks, are you going to make a series out of You Had Me at Flamingo?
No. Next question.
I was going to say, I know the answer to that one.
It really, okay, background on that. I was trying to do a serious sampler. And when I do a serious sampler, it comes out like You Had Me at Flamingo. Who knows? I may do, it's not my intention. It was never the intention to be a series. You know, it was A, B, C, D, F, Flamingo. We stopped at F. You know, that's the current plan, although I have also learned to never say never.
You never know.
So,
Shelly asks, what is your most popular series to date?
oh. Wouldn't you say the original Year in Chalk? Yeah, the original Year in Chalk.
Over time.
Yeah, yeah. And it still thrills me that people are still finding that and stitching it. And I love it. That set of designs was, I think, kind of a pivotal moment for me as a designer, to get all deep and everything for a moment. But yeah, I would say.
I will tell you after that though, 3.5 inch by 5 inch pieces of wood are not allowed in this house anymore. Wow.
Okay, well, they don't know all that.
Look at the design and look at the boards that they're finished on. We made
1,300 of them.
Yes.
Ordered from China, sanded, painted twice, painted, sanded, painted, sanded, stained, sanded, drilled, and had a ribbon put through them.
We had quite the operation going. That's where friends come in.
And they're still my friends, so they're really good friends. Okay, how much time are we at? Oh, we're at 45 minutes. Okay, we're doing okay. How many? Do we have many more?
There's 3 more questions.
Okay, is that?
Lisa asks, I know you are both Hokies. What was your major?
My major was marketing, and then I also kind of did a concentration in finance and communications. My favorite classes were like a lot of my graphic arts classes, go figure. And you?
Mine was accounting.
Okay, I originally started in accounting.
I started in computer engineering, so, you know.
Yes.
Eventually, we all figure it out.
Yeah, yep. So we met freshman year, but we didn't start dating till our junior year. So, and pretty much, like, we were friends. We had a lot of friends in common
Friends, yeah.
Freshman year, but we both had a lot of maturing to do. I'm just gonna leave it at that. We had fun. College was fun.
Yeah.
And we both graduated, so there you go. And
On time.
Yep. And then pretty much, I think once we started dating, that was it.
We haven't stopped dating, so there you go.
Anyway.
Gail asks, will you show us how to do the ribbon edge on the carrots and cottontails?
Oh.
Medium sign.
Okay, not right now, but I've been looking for a good tutorial, like something to do, because you all seem to really like the video tutorials, and it's a real simple thing to do. So yes, I have made a note because I did see that question come across, and I promise I will do a video tutorial on that. So it's pretty and it's fun. So are we almost done?
The last question from Carmen. What is Mr. HOD's day job? My night job is hands-on design.
That's your all-the-time job.
I'm actually the chief financial officer of a large refrigerated trucking company. Been there for 25 years.
Oh.
So
Really? 25 years?
Yeah. We run about 750 trucks now.
And so right now they are deemed a very essential business because they're a vital part of keeping the food chain supply going, and keeping your grocery stores full of, well, I can't say TP because, that'd be some chili TP, but your frozen food, your meats, and all that kind of good stuff. So, the work that you're doing is deemed very essential right now. So,
well, it's our drivers.
Absolutely.
It's the warehouse folks. It's the folks in the grocery stores, and everybody's working hard. I can tell you, we do not have a truck sitting in the yard that's not turning a wheel. So we're going as hard as we can. So I think we're catching up, starting to catch up. So,
but is that it on questions?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's also the nurses, the doctors.
Absolutely, yes. I was gonna say, in kind of closing, we have quite a few friends that are nurses, and like I said, Deb, who works here at Hands On, has family members in the medical field, and I guess we just wish that everybody do your social distancing. I guess we're not really social distancing, but we don't have to, because it's a tough time, and we want everybody to be safe, and thank you to everybody that's out there on the front lines, taking care of people and making sure that the rest of us stay healthy. So
yeah.
Thanks for letting us come with just a
Yeah,
fun little video.
this was fun.
And maybe we'll do more of them. I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. So I'll be up for doing that next that tutorial on the ribbon edging. And should we do a little toast? So there we go. So enjoy the stitch, and we'll see you next time. All right.